Here's your wrestling news for September 25th, 2022. And we're kicking off today with Saraya, who debuted for AEW during this week's Dynamite over 2 months after her departure from WWE. One factor in WWE's decision to let her go was that they were not going to medically clear her to return and struggled to find a reason to keep her employed outside of the ring. During her Dynamite debut, Saraya did not attack anyone, nor did anyone attack her, and it was reported shortly after that she has still not been cleared to wrestle. On Twitter, Saraya responded to reports about her condition by promoting her live appearance during next Wednesday's Dynamite. Ignore the dirt sheet clickbait, see you Wednesday, #AEW Dynamite. After last competing at a December 2017 WWE live event, there's a ton of fans who want to see Saraya wrestle again, and that may finally be the case now as part of AEW. We know for certain that Malakai Black won't be on next week's programming or any AEW programming after being granted a conditional release from the company. Black had his first request denied, but it was later granted on the condition that he could compete on the Indies but not join WWE at this time. We now have an update on Black's situation, as while he won't be joining WWE yet, that is indeed his plan. The Wrestling Observer newsletter were the first to report that when WWE sent feelers to AEW, one of the names they spoke to was the former NXT champion. Not only that, but it was also reported and later corroborated by Fightful that when Black spoke to WWE's feelers, he expressed a desire to return, saying he wished he was still there. Black wasn't alone in his assessment, as multiple AEW wrestlers have reportedly expressed their desire to leave AEW for WWE, believing they'll have a better chance with Triple H in charge. AEW's reported response to this is that if talent want to leave the company, let them, which sounds honorable in theory, but may lead to a rapidly shrinking AEW roster. We know that WWE has spoken with AEW talent still under contract, and while we can't say for certain who will be next to go, it appears that Tony Khan is awaiting a mass exodus from his company. For over a week, WWE has promoting a White Rabbit with a series of bizarre events, all happening off-screen. The company has had fans speculating with the use of the song White Rabbit, ominous red lighting, and QR codes on TV, and now there's been another unique move by WWE. After this week's Smackdown, fans who attended the event by car were surprised to find documents left on their car windshield featuring a white rabbit and coordinates. These coordinates are the same as fans found when completing a maze game, which they only got from scanning a QR code, and point to Edmonton's Rogers Place Arena, home of next week's Raw. Not only is WWE all in with these White Rabbit teases, but now they're making a profit, with White Rabbit shirts now available on WWEshop.com. Whether these teases are leading to the return of Bray Wyatt, as many believe, only time will tell, but WWE is continuing to find new ways to keep the audience hooked. If Bray Wyatt does return as expected, then it will come over a year after his controversial departure from WWE in July 2021. Despite being massively popular with fans, Wyatt was released from WWE, and at the time, it was said that his multi-million-dollar contract and creative issues with Vince McMahon led to his release. During the latest Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez added more information, saying that when Bray was released, he had an issue with being cleared. Wyatt hadn't competed in over 3 months by the time he was released, but WWE did not report that he was injured at the time. Alvarez went on to say that it's unclear whether the issue that led to Wyatt not being cleared has been fully fixed, which may throw a wrench in WWE's reported plans to bring him back. Until we see Bray Wyatt on WWE TV, every report of his return should be taken with a pinch of salt, and it remains to be seen if he is indeed the White Rabbit the company is promoting. For 3 seasons, Vice's Dark Side of the Ring shone a light on wrestling's seedy underbelly, covering all sorts of controversial topics. While the show has been popular, there has been issues with a potential 4th season, as Vice has come under scrutiny for how they portray certain wrestlers. Jim Ross is just one of several names that say they won't appear in future seasons, but there's now an update on the show. Speaking to comicbook.com, show creator Jason Eisner confirmed that he hasn't given up on the show and is planning for future episodes of Dark Side of the Ring. For now, though, Eisner said his focus is on Tales from the Territories, a sort of spin-off to Dark Side of the Ring, which will focus on less controversial topics from wrestling's past. Wrestling has no shortage of dark, controversial topics from the past as well as the present, and while a 4th season hasn't been confirmed yet, it is something the Dark Side of the Ring team are working on. During AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, Sting and Darby Allin faced the House of Black in a no disqualifications match, which saw a particularly nasty bump for the Icon. At one point, Brody King launched the 63-year-old off the top rope, crashing through one table, but having his head ricocheting off of another that didn't break, sparking the anger of fans. On social media, fans questioned why Sting is taking dangerous bumps like this, saying it's not worth it, and said how even in WWE and Impact he never took bumps as life-threatening as these. The Icon was forced to retire after a buckle bomb by Seth Rollins damaged his neck, and while Sting is back in the ring, some of the risks he's taking in AEW don't seem to be worth it to fans. The House of Black's Julia Hart didn't compete in that match, but she also took a scary bump as she was knocked off the apron and crashed hard to the floor, missing the table place to cushion her fall. On Twitter, Hart gave an update to concerned fans, saying she and her hat are okay, as the House of Black member was lucky this time around. Earlier this year, Jeff Jarrett was rehired by WWE, working as the promotion's senior vice president of live events, though he wouldn't be in the job for long. Mere months later, Jarrett was fired from the role and replaced by the rehired Road Dogg Jesse James, one of Triple H's guys who had worked with him backstage in NXT. Now, losing your job is never a fun experience, but as Jeff's wife Karen Jarrett said on her Ask Karen Anything podcast, this isn't a bad thing. I think it's a blessing that he's not there. I still think he has so much to offer to the business inside the ring, and I think he would have been limited working there with all the knowledge that he has. I don't know that he would have been truly happy with the changes that were made, so I think God was taking care of us by doing that. There have been rumors that Double J will make an appearance in next month's AAA Triple Mania, as he's worked closely with the company in the past when not working for WWE. Even at 55, Jarrett has proven he can still go in the ring, so we'll have to see if he wrestles again, as his wife believes he should. At Extreme Rules, Ronda Rousey hopes to regain the Smackdown Women's title when she faces Liv Morgan in an Extreme Rules match. Weapons will be allowed in the match, and during a recent gaming stream, Rousey had some unique ideas for the match, saying she'll swap out some thumbtacks for some Lego bricks. As anyone who's ever stepped on the iconic Danish building block knows, Lego can be seriously painful, and time will tell what lengths Rousey goes to in pursuit of the Smackdown Women's Championship. One person fans can see in the ring each week is Bianca Belair, who is riding high at the moment as the reigning Raw Women's Champion. The EST of WWE is often a highlight of each Monday's show, but Belair took a step outside of wrestling this week. When Pat McAfee appeared on yesterday's episode of College Game Day ahead of the game between Florida and Tennessee, he brought in Belair as the show's guest picker. Unsurprisingly, Bianca, being from Tennessee, backed her home state to pick up the victory, which they did in a close-fought 38-33 win. Belair is set to face Io Sky on next week's Raw, with a title match against Bayley looming, and she's looking to match the success of the Tennessee Volunteers after their big win this week. In June, Cody Rhodes tore his pectoral, but fought through the pain to compete inside Hell in a Cell the very same day. Rhodes has been on the shelf since then, but has been itching to get back in the ring, much to the dismay of doctors who want him to take it easy. Speaking to TMZ Sports this week, Rhodes spoke about his inevitable return and said the doctors don't exactly trust the former TNT champion enough to give him a recovery window. "They know I'm stupid, and I try to test it. I got in my mind where I want to be, and I think a lot of fans have in their mind where I'd like to be, and that's hopefully where it's at." Cody also addressed his return to WWE, calling the time between returning and before getting injured the best 3 months of his wrestling career. Though he was once the heart and soul of AEW, Cody is thrilled to be back in WWE, and even a torn pectoral can't spoil Rhodes' plans to be the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. And we're ending with Saraya, who worked on WWE Backstage for a while with Booker T, and who recently recalled a rib he played on her. Speaking on his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker spoke about working with the then Paige, and one time having her introduce him as her, quote, OG brother from the hood. As Booker explained, this led to Saraya receiving a lot of emails and messages from fans who found the line inappropriate, to the point where Booker had to make it clear he'd requested the line. It remains to be seen whether Saraya will wrestle again following her debut this week, but hopefully we'll get answers on next week's Dynamite. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.